Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel Tooth Academy. Today we are going to study about the skeleton, and in skeleton also in today's video I am going to discuss mainly about bones. In my later videos I will discuss about the later part of the skeleton, that is cartilages. So without wasting any time, let's start our today's topic, bones. So what are bones? Bones form the rigid support of our body. That framework to which all other components of our body are attached is called bone. As we know, there are total of 206 bones in an adult human body. These bones are comprised of two components. Okay. The first one is the organic part or the connective tissue part, that is 1/3, and the second part is the inorganic part, that is the 2/3 part. The organic part of bones is made up of collagen fibers, and the inorganic part is mainly made up of calcium phosphate, partly by calcium carbonate, and in traces other salts are also found. So mainly inorganic salts, calcium phosphate is present. Okay, so these calcium phosphate is found in which form? This calcium phosphate is found in the form of calcium hydroxyapatite crystals. Okay, understood? Now these calcium hydroxyapatite crystals have a formula Ca10PO4 6OH2. This formula is very important. It is generally asked in the examination or in your viva also. So from BDS point of view, from dental point of view, this formula is very important. So we have finished the composition of bone. How bones are made up of? Bones are made up of organic part and inorganic part. 1/3 is the organic part and 2/3 is the inorganic part. Organic part is made up of collagen fibers and inorganic part is mainly made up of calcium phosphate, partly by calcium carbonate, and in traces other salts are also found. So now we will study what this organic part of the bone provide bones toughness and resilience. Okay, this organic part of the bone is responsible for the toughness and resilience of the bone. What does the word resilience means? The word resilience means flexibility. Okay, and what does the inorganic part of the bone is responsible for? So it provides the hardness and rigidity to the bone. Now come to the organic part. Since this organic part of the bone provides toughness and resilience, hence it gives resistance to tensile forces. What does this tensile forces mean? Tensile forces mean the forces which act in opposite direction like this. Okay, it means we are pulling something. Okay, like pulling forces are the tensile forces. So the organic part of the bone gives resistance to all the tensile forces which acts on our body. Okay, and the inorganic part of the bone provide resistance to compressive forces. Compressive forces means we are compressing something. Okay, like this, we are compressing something in this direction, we are compressing something. Okay, and also to the impact forces. Impact forces means there is sudden jerk or sudden impact. For example, when we jump on the ground, then the bones provide that rigidity. Okay, and the compressive forces. So the organic part provide resistance to tensile forces and the inorganic part provide resistance to the compressive forces and the impact forces. Now let's again come to the organic part. What will happen to a bone if organic part is completely removed? Okay, since we will remove the organic part of the bone by burning. Okay, when we burn the bone, the organic part is completely removed. It means the flexibility is completely lost. So bones crumples into small pieces. Bone will break down into small pieces. And what will happen if the inorganic part of the bone is removed? Inorganic part of the bone is removed by dissolving in acid. So in acid we will dissolve the bone, and what will happen? Since the inorganic part provides the hardness and rigidity, the bone becomes flexible. It becomes so flexible that we can tie the bone as a knot. Okay, so this was all about the introduction of bones. Now let's study about the characteristics of bones. Okay, bone is a living tissue. Okay, first characteristic is that bone is a living tissue. Okay, since our bone has a vascular supply, blood vessels runs in the bone, so we can call it a living tissue. Second characteristic is it is vascular, as I have told you, and has a constant turnover. It means that bone remodeling is there. Turnover means bone form and bone also dissolve and form repeatedly. Okay, turnover is a constant turnover and it is a vascular part. Third is it has characteristic pattern of growth. From birth to the old age, bone has a characteristic pattern of growth. Fourth characteristic is if it is subjected to any disease, it heals. It means it has the characteristic property of healing. For example, if our bone fracture, then in due time it get completely heals also, but it will take time. Okay, now the fifth characteristic is it mold itself according to stress or strain. Okay, if any stress occurs on the bone, if any strain occurs, it mold itself accordingly. Sixth characteristic is it shows disuse atrophy, and in overuse it shows hypertrophy. Okay, if bone is not in function, it will get atrophied, and if we overuse the bone, it will get hypertrophied. Okay, it is all about the characteristic of bones. Now come to the functions of bone. The first and the very important function of bone is it gives shape and support to the body. So the rigid framework of the body is formed by our bone. Second function is it provides attachment of muscles, tendons and ligaments. Bone provides attachment to muscles, tendons and ligaments. Okay. Third function is for muscular actions, the actions of muscles. In these actions, bone act as levers. In fourth function is some part of the bone, for example skull bone, yes, skull, protect our very delicate organ called the brain. Then the thoracic case protect our thoracic part and also our abdominal viscera. Now the vertebral column protects our spinal cord. So bone also protect our internal organs that are very delicate and need to be protected from any external injury. The fifth function is bone manufacture blood cells. This is the very important function of bone. Bone have a bone marrow. Okay, these bone marrow manufacture blood cells. Blood cells are very important. WBC, RBC, that forms the blood cells of the blood. Okay. Now the sixth function is 97% of calcium and phosphorus is stored in bone. Okay, the 97% of the calcium and phosphorus of our body are stored in bone. The seventh function is bone marrow, where it is found in the bone, have a reticuloendothelial cells. What are these reticuloendothelial cells do? These are phagocytic in nature, so it provides the immune response also. Okay, in immunity also this bone is playing a very important part. Eighth function is the larger paranasal air sinuses. For example, the ethmoidal air sinuses affect the timbre of voice. So these paranasal air sinuses which are present in certain bones, for example in ethmoidal bones we have ethmoidal air sinuses. So these ethmoidal air sinuses affect the timbre of the voice. It means the tonicity or the quality of tone is improved with the help of these paranasal air sinuses. So these are the very important functions of bone. Now let's study about the classification of bones.